Oh, hey there. How's it going? I just wanted to let you know that before we start this, there is a video aspect that goes along to this interview. And if you're seeing these animations, you probably already figured that out. So good for you. If you're not, you might want to check that out. Because there's a tarot reading that goes along with this, and you'll get to see all the cool cards and pretty pictures. It's nice. You might enjoy. So link in description.
The following podcast is a presentation of Project Entertainment Network.
Don't be scared now, but it looks like you just wandered straight into U-Mind country. That's U-Mind, short for unaffiliated mind games, and you ain't never gonna be the same again. Brace yourself. It's time for a red-hot truth injection. Oh yeah! That's right, bitch. We're rounding up the sheeple and shaking them awake. You mind? Too damn bad. We're gonna set fire to the wool over your eyes. Feel the burn, baby. Hot damn. We're toppling the lies of the lamestream media one by one. Woo-wee. Watch them bad boys fall. Hey, Universe A. This is Universe B calling, and we're gonna tear you a new one. You mind?
Okay, hey everybody, it is me, Napoleon Doom, and I'm here with Nyxie VonRose. Now, Nyxie is a witch, a priestess, and a spirit portrait artist, and she's also the high priestess and exorcist of Horrorgasm. Hi, Nyxie.
Hey, Napoleon, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited for this interview. I've met a couple witches, but I have never met an exorcist or high priestess. So that is very exciting. And
Uh,
yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
um, I mean, it's normally the term high priestess is
Mm-hmm.
like for a witch's coven.
Very nice.
I use it because as I am a priestess, but to a particular goddess, and I I also really resonate with the high priestess tarot card.
Very
She's the
nice.
one that always comes out for me. So yeah, so I just kind of resonate with that a little bit, and then when I say exorcist, a lot of people think like the Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, oh, we're gonna pull the demons out of people.
But that's not
Um,
you. Yeah.
I could,
Yeah.
but I don't do that
Okay.
necessarily. But I do cleanse houses, and I do exorcise spirits or more malevolent things out of people's homes and
Okay.
like proper like particular objects and stuff. So I do that for sure, but
Well,
I've never had to do it for a person before. So
that's good. Yeah.
yeah,
That
it's
seems
good.
like it would be a lot of work. But yeah, that's really fascinating to me. And another thing that you do that I have seen on television, but I've never actually met someone who can do it in real life, is you are a spirit portrait artist.
Yes.
Okay,
Uh,
that's cool.
Go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
I was just commenting on how neat it was that it's exciting to me because this is not my world. I don't really delve into the spiritualism, so I'm always excited to hear about the people who are involved in more esoteric things. How does that work? Do you see it in your head, or how does?
Yeah, there's two ways that I kind of see it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's very cartoon-like. Like I can see it around the person without like kind of like closing my eyes and connecting. Sometimes like there was this one person I knew a long time ago, and the little kid on Charlie Brown that had always that dust cloud around
Oh yeah,
him.
Pigpen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew a man who every time I saw him, even though his clothes were always ironed, he was
Mm-hmm.
very neat and proper, but the energy around him, I could literally see like a cartoon, like Pigpen. I could see the cloud dust around him, so I always knew to just stay away from that guy. I was like, I don't need to talk to him.
Yeah, yeah, not good energies. So,
No, not good energies.
oh, yeah, that is extremely fascinating to me. Because you know, I don't believe or disbelieve in anything, as I've said before on the podcast. I'm just open to whatever people are experiencing, and so I'm very much intrigued by when did you first realize that you had this ability to commune beyond the veil?
Oh, since I was little,
Yeah.
I could see um I could see spirits from when I was little. Kind of shut it down for a long time.
Sure.
You know, hardship in the world around us, you know, our normal world, typically blocks off your spirituality.
Mm.
So when you know, get over those things on a mental and emotional level, then you can kind of open yourself back up to the spirituality of things, which was happening to me over time. So yeah, I kind of got back connecting into that world probably about 10 years ago.
Hmm. Oh, very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Was there an event that sort of made you decide, like, you know, I need to start using this gift again?
Um, it was a kind of a I had a rough 2010.
Mm-hmm.
2010 was a very rough year for me, and halfway through, I remember just like begging for help in my head, and then it just kind of, you know, my first guide came to me, and then it developed from there. So,
Okay.
you know how they say like bad things come in threes? That was a really bad year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I am curious about your guide. Now I'm a lucid dreamer, and I see kind of my dream guide is appears in the form of Meg Ryan from the '90s. Um, yeah, she's cute. So your spirit guide, what does your spirit? Oh, Jimi Hendrix, or Prince, and Gomez. Very nice. So they're kind of they shift in form.
No, it's them.
Oh, it's
Uh,
all three of them. It's not one that changes form. It's all three of them.
yeah, I have a huge team at this point,
Oh
but
wow.
my first one that came to me was the Archangel Gabriel.
Okay. Very cool. So very,
Yeah.
very interesting. So I remember there used to be a bookstore when I was younger called Phoenix Fire, and I used to go there, and one of the books that I got was Contacting Your Angel. But I was never capable of doing it. But you're able to do that. So the Archangel Gabriel, I guess is it does it sound condescending if I say what was he like? Because I'm genuinely curious. So.
Um, so I firmly believe in the idea that these beings
Mm-hmm.
come to us in the way that we would like to see them.
Okay.
So it's like how you know, who was it? There's actually like different depictions of like Virgin Mary
Mm-hmm.
in different cultures,
Yeah.
and you know, it's kind of like okay, but no, he's like, you know, it's like interacting with somebody that, you know, you are, you know, like a very, very, very close friend or family member that
Mm-hmm.
you just have like, you know, unconditional love for. So it's a very like honest, and it's not so much this like benevolent like you know, like, oh, I bow to you or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's a very like casual is not the right word, but it's very comfortable, like
Okay.
very comfortable to connect with him.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like familiar kind of feeling that
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. It's not so like, you know, okay, you're obviously like this incredible being, but sometimes different beings have different ways of coming at you, but
Mm-hmm.
he's very easy to get along with.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. So I think that is fascinating what you said that they appear what how you want to see them.
Yeah.
So if I want to see a man in all white with golden curls and big white wings, then that's what I'm gonna see. And okay, so
surprise you. They may
Yeah.
surprise you, who knows? Just because, especially Gabriel
Mm-hmm.
and especially my goddess too, they can be seen as male or female, and
Right.
you know this very well that Gabriel is well known to be either in some depictions he's female and some depictions he's male.
Right.
So, other people see him as female.
Hmm.
So it just depends.
Very cool. Very cool. Now you mentioned your goddess before. Can we ask who your goddess is?
Um, yes, her name is she's a she's a Yoruban goddess of the ocean.
Okay.
Uh she's her name's Olokun,
Okay.
and she also can be male or female depending on the mythology that
Yeah.
talks about her.
Because they don't have corporeal forms, so they're not limited by a gender and a flesh body and that kind of thing. So,
Um, I guess.
yeah.
I mean, she's known. I mean, she lives in the ocean, so she's got a
Hmm.
tail. She's a mermaid,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Okay.
But yeah, for her in particular, it's fluid.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So, okay. Well, that's exciting. So how have you been using your gifts to help people out? And what have you been doing basically with just other people, with people in need? So,
The main thing that I do to help people is the tarot card reading that I
hmm.
do. It helps people, give them clarity in current situations or feelings that they have about past situations or anxiety that they have about future potential situations. Um, Predictions are, while it's possible for people to predict things, I never uh, I just express to people that, people have free will, and even the person I'm reading to can change their mind even later that afternoon. They can choose to ignore everything I said and go about with their day. And the results are going to be different for future predictions. So I try to emphasize, because people want to know future stuff.
Hmm.
And I let them know I can tell you based on who you are as a person sitting in front of me right now. But even later today, this could change.
I like that. It's very non-fatalist. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
we're not locked into one path.
yeah. And it's not a way to get me out of trouble either. I mean, it's just that is the way of things,
Hmm.
because people might say, well, you told me this. Yes, I did tell you that, but that was you 4 weeks ago.
Hmm. It
You're a
was
different person.
one possible path that you could have
It's
pursued.
a path, yeah.
Okay.
Um, I also do the spirit portrait readings.
Hmm.
That's getting my artistic skills involved there.
Yeah.
A lot of people can see auras, and many people see, in all different ways. People use photography now, which is super exciting,
Hmm.
uh, which I really want to try that. Um, and other people can see colors and they get different feelings from it. But and other people have this kind of thing too. I've seen just maybe one or two other people that can do something similar. But when I see, when I look at somebody's spirit, like I said, I can see things around them that tell me something about them. I may not necessarily get the whole picture, but I
Hmm.
get what's prominent of what's going on with them, or prominent of their personality in who they are right now. And the thing is, just like mood rings, right?
Hmm.
Those can change as
Sure.
well.
Yeah.
So,
Hi. That's very interesting. Have you ever seen? Oh, I'm sorry.
oh, I was gonna ramble on more about all the other stuff I
Oh
do,
no,
but we
please
can't
do.
talk
Please
about
do.
that. Yeah. I also do spell work for people, like
Wow.
super witchy stuff. I do spell work. I do house cleansings and blessings, and uh, that's about it. Okay,
Wow.
no, that's it.
Very nice. Have you ever seen anything that frightened you, that was really disturbing to you?
About another person, or just about like all the
Just
crazy stuff?
I guess in any arena, is it mostly benevolent, or do you sometimes see darker forces as well?
Oh yes, the dark stuff exists for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I before when I was younger, I would be intensely terrified. More because I just didn't know how to deal with them.
Yeah.
And now I do, and I'm not afraid, but I do understand because I know what's around me when I experience certain sensations. So
Mm-hmm.
like when I get goosebumps, that's an angel. When and then there's like an intense need to run away. Like I have to leave. I have to get out of here. That's when it's something more, you know, more malevolent. So
Okay.
that's when I know something like that's around is because I have to run. I have to get out of here.
And you're not getting that right now, so.
No, no, I keep my place on lockdown for
Oh,
sure.
okay, okay, good deal. Because Old Scratch is in the background here, and
Oh,
he's a little malevolent. So that
Yes, Napoleon.
yes, I know he's making himself a drink back here in the darkness. So yeah. So, but well, that's good. That's good. So, because I would hate for it to spoil our evening. So yeah, and
Yes, I would definitely hate to spoil anything you are planning.
yeah. So, but yeah. So, I am very very much interested. Now, you said that you would be willing to do a reading on me tonight, if that's
yeah.
okay. Yes. And I have one card. I'm not going to tell you what it is that normally comes up for me during these readings. So I'm excited to see if it comes up tonight. And what am I going to learn from this reading?
Well, it depends on what you want. You can either ask a question or we can just um if people don't know what to ask, I just do a general reading um to ask spirit to tell me what's most relevant to you now. Now, it might not be something that's necessarily at the forefront of
Mm-hmm.
your mind. Um, they might bring something up that um you might need to hear that it's kind of like you were putting away and not really you're like I'll deal with it later.
Okay, sure, sure. I think I'd be interested in doing that. Just keeping it sort of non-specific.
Mhm.
Just whatever the spirits want to tell me. Now, are you seeing any specific spirits around me, or is it just spirits in general?
Do I see anything around you?
Any specific spirits around me? Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
Yeah, no, I'm not because mine are around me right now.
Mm-hmm.
So um and they're just there's two in particular. So I asked them to I kind of assigned them like because it's always like a physical thing like when spirits are around me. So I was like, okay, if Samuel, if you're here, how will I know that's you? And then I'll feel a different sensation on my body. So I've kind of like assigned places on my body
Yeah.
that they touch, so I know who's around me. So
Okay.
right now I've got a different God and Samuel and Lilith around me. Samuel's my personal guide,
Okay.
but he's cool. He's a cool cat.
Now,
I
is he
like
the
him. He's got
one
my
who looks like
Samuel.
Gomez or Jimi Hendrix
No,
or oh,
no, no, no. They're not here right now. They're
oh
out
okay.
partying.
Oh,
Like
nice.
so when it this is just a uh this is just a side story. There's a belief that certain people, because in other cultures, normal people become deified. Like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ was a human, and then he was, held into high regard and, as son of God. And then you have the like the Yoruban gods in particular
Mm-hmm.
are many of them were kings of different lands, and then when they died, they were deified, and like Chango was.
Okay.
Um, Greek gods were made into constellations. So you have, or not Greek gods, but like, they were created into something that was important to humanity. So
Right. Yeah.
there is the belief that even people to this day that we in our lifetimes have either like very closely experienced or we are still affected by their work on Earth have become deified. And there's this image of Jimi Hendrix where he kind of, those votive candles,
Uh-huh.
where they kind of make them like a saint.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sainthood, when the Vatican
Mm-hmm.
gives
Mm-hmm.
people sainthood as well. So the belief is that he may be in that state of a type of deification where he won't reincarnate back into this world. That's a belief.
Hmm.
Um, I would believe it, but
Yeah. Well,
I could
that's
understand.
exciting. How can I stop from reincarnating? Because I'm kind of done with it. So I'm over it. Yeah. So.
I don't know. It depends on is the last thing you need to do, whatever you're working on in this lifetime. If these are the last lessons for you, then this will be it. But I don't know. You may choose to, afterwards be like, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
To put me on a different planet. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I really am, I'm very interested in what you said about people becoming deified, because I know in Mexico there's the belief that there's folk saints, that you have certain people. A lot of times they're people who you wouldn't think are necessarily great people, like drug dealers or stuff like that, who become folk saints, not because what they did was so righteous, but what they did for the people. They gave back to the people and they helped to the people, and so they become these people who are sort of revered in that culture. And
That's
it's
why we have statues
mm-hmm,
honoring people in their life, like whether or not they did, like war heroes,
mm-hmm,
they killed people at some point, but
sure,
we put statues to honor them. So it's kind of like a way of doing it, but I just think that especially with couple cards came out. So hold on.
mm-hmm,
They want to shut up and start talking to you about what's going on
yes,
with you right now. So here we have this is I'm seeing a okay. So the first card that came out, I'm using a deck called Crow Tarot.
okay,
So what's coming up for you and what I'm hearing is that you have been unclear about your focus and what you want to do in life.
yeah, that's
Is that
accurate.
right? What the problem is that you have to slow down and really contemplate it. This card came up sideways, which I'm going to keep sideways
Mm-hmm,
instead of upside down or right side up. And the reason is because you are resisting doing it. You want to really just stop and think about it and really find out. But at this point in time, as of right now, you in front of me,
mm-hmm,
you have been resisting slowing down. It's like you've been pushing what huh
yeah,
you keep it's like you're persisting in the things that haven't been working
yeah,
because you don't want to hold on. It's like you don't want to give up too early
mm-hmm,
and miss your chance.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
What I have that came out third was this card.
All right.
This is the Seven of Cups. This is more confusion.
Okay.
There's a lot of options that you have, and you just don't know which one to take.
Mm-hmm.
So that's indicative of why this rest is so necessary right now. But you're fighting it.
I am. Yes.
So this is like lack of clarity, refusal to rest, and um like it's the thing is that the more you resist resting, the more you resist pausing, like kind of pumping the brakes, and you really have to look at it. Oh, sorry, that beep. I have different alarms on my phone.
That's okay. Yeah.
Um,
I do
there's
too,
just
actually.
there's a lot of resistance, and it's more like about you don't want to you don't want to give up on the things that you've put so much effort into.
Yes.
However, this card just came out, and this is
Mm,
the Tower. This means that shaky foundations at times of um, upheaval are gonna come falling down.
okay.
So this means that there are some weak pillars in the in your castle that you've built that are not going, that just it's just not going to last. And this is the time to make that decision on your own before it's taken away from you.
Okay.
So when the queen is upright, she is clear, she's decisive, and she is focused. She's mastered all of the shadow side, which is where you're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to master that. You've got to, and by resting, which is counterintuitive. Normally it's like, no, we got to move. No, I have to work. I have to, if I don't, then I'm failing. I'm not doing anything. I can't do that. I can't allow that. Have you been saying stuff like that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Pretty much every day. People telling me to just calm it down and stop getting myself so worked up. And I'm like, okay, but if I don't get worked up, nothing's going to happen. So I'm going to stagnate. So.
Well, that's what this card is about. This is okay, so Knight of Pentacles okay, so the cards that came out are really positive.
Mm-hmm.
This one's the Knight of Pentacles, and this is that slow to approach offer.
Okay. So a slow to approach offer.
So here's the thing, is that we also have the Knight of Swords, and this is reckless abandon. Like, this is like charging in. Even though like you have it's almost like a single-minded approach, and you're just blindly going in because you know that one path has to be the right one. But the Magician reversed is even with your enthusiasm to move forward in your projects, there is this lack of you don't believe in the things that you have in front of you 100%. And then strength is here because you're pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and doing whatever you can in however way you can. And strength is a really positive card. However, paired with these two, it's more like you're persisting even though you're unsure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a kind of like a blind, you're moving forward blindly, and almost I'm getting stubborn with this. So stubbornly you're moving forward regardless of what's happening in your head, but it's this indecision. So this is another like unsure, indecision kind of thing, but this is more about your abilities and your power. What you want is too slow to come in. So that's what all of this is.
Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead and see what you need to do about it.
Okay. I am scared.
Well, this was really fast.
This is very accurate, I have to say, because I've had tarot readings before where it was just so general, and I'm like, yep, Okay. I mean, cool, but this is very accurate to exactly what's going on right now. So,
Uh-huh. Don't
yeah.
doubt me. So,
Oh no, I don't
uh,
doubt you. So,
this card also came out sideways. This is the opposite of the tower.
okay.
It was so hard to pick things up. So the tower is about uh, weak foundations. This is strong foundations. This is that like you can see it,
Okay.
and but look at how much thinner those. I mean, those are wands,
Right.
right? There's a castle in that background, but um the idea is that these four pillars, it's like you have to cut back on something. You have to cut
Hmm.
back on projects that, and that's what that contemplation is. Because you have two fours here. This is the Four of Swords
Okay.
and the Four of Wands, right? And four is the number of stability, and they're both sideways. That means like this can go either way. This can go really bad or this can go really good. But if you, but this is the thing, is that this is your choice.
Hmm.
You can choose. You can choose to rest. You can choose to do. And here's the thing, is that like that whole, like, if you've seen all that shit about self-care and everything,
Hmm. Hmm.
I said a bad word. Is that okay?
Oh, that's fine.
So
This is
I
a
don't,
grown-ups podcast. It's good. So,
okay. Okay, perfect. So sometimes I go like, oh, language. But you have to choose sometimes to step back
okay.
and kind of watch and see. What I'm hearing is now, like, you kind of got to watch and see what from your heart, right?
Hmm.
Watch and see from a heartfelt space
Okay.
what you are actually energetically drawn
All right.
to pursue. Because ideas, all of these amazing ideas, yeah, they might be great. They might be really, like, creative, and you can see each one taking off on its own
Hmm.
if you put 100% effort, mind and heart and soul into these individual projects. But this many, it's
Hmm.
it's it's not energetically possible unless you've got like a team of 20 people working for you and you're just overseeing how everything goes. That's possible.
That's so
But
weird because I was just talking about that today. That I need to get a team together of people. There's like, maybe I should approach the junior college and see if I can get some interns, but
you might have to, if that's
yeah.
what you want to keep everything. And I I'm not telling you what to do. I'm suggesting that you take a break.
Yeah.
And as hard as that might be, trust me, it will be worth your while, because then this
Hmm.
can, no, do this.
Okay.
It can go upright.
Good deal.
The other things that came out, which I do like, is the Queen of Wands
Hmm.
and the World reversed. So you got two queens here. So you are a queen, right? In your own right. However, the queen you are right now is now doubting herself
Hmm.
in one way or another. We don't like that. That's why rest is necessary, because you got to grow out of that into this queen who, look at how sexy she is.
That's right.
She's fiery. Um she's she's you know aggressive's not the word.
Assertive. She's
She
confident.
aggressively pursues her things, but she is assertive. She is
Yeah.
confident. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But I heard aggressive, but more because she can aggressively pursue the things that she knows
Hmm.
is worth her time and effort. What do cats do? Look, she got a little black cat
I
there.
noticed that. That was the first thing I noticed.
That's because black cat, I mean, cat and black cats are, um, I'm looking at mine right now.
Aw.
Hello. She looked up at me like, yeah, you called.
Aw.
Um, because, black cats more so than other cats, but all
Hmm.
cats are the, they are all about mystery. They are all about, they do things in their own way, and they don't care what anyone says. And if you call them, they're just like, no, I'm doing this. I'll come to you when I'm ready. So
Yeah.
they're very like authoritative, and they're very sure of themselves, and they know what they like, they know what they want, and they don't care what you think. But that's part of that is and I'm hearing that is what the traits that you currently have that you need to continue and keep with you.
Okay.
Right? But this indecision, this confusion, that's what needs to be released.
Yeah. Yeah.
So both reversed. So these came together while the Four of Wands, that yellow card with the castle in the background, that one came out sideways, separate from these two. But the world reverse is a cyclical journey, right?
Okay.
Upside down, the world is what you need to be focusing on. And there's there's a lion and a bull down here. So we have two lions because that strength card has a lion on it as well. And the bull is, and so lions are prideful. She's also lion energy as well.
Yeah.
So kind of like taking on that lioness energy. And then the world, and I'm looking at the bull and the lion specifically. I'm drawn to those because bulls are very meticulous. They do things slowly. They take their time to make decisions. They don't just rush in. And that is important for you to do right now. And you can do it with confidence, because you can move forward. You can move forward with confidence when you are fully aware of what you truly want in your heart.
Okay. Very cool. Wow. So...
I do one more little card.
Yeah.
I just want to get one more. This is animal spirit advice.
Sure. I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Like the energy that you should take on.
Okay.
For this time, what advice do we have?
Very nice.
My forehead is pulsing right now.
Yeah, some third eye opening.
They're telling me that you need to trust your intuition more.
Oh, yeah. I get that a lot. I'm like the anti-psychic. Like I have zero perception of what's going on around me, like other people.
I think that's bullshit, actually.
No?
They're telling me to be bullshit. Bullshit. They're like yelling at me. And the thing is that what the thing is that intuition has different names, including I got a gut feeling about this. Yeah. Right? Because why? Because your stomach is actually, it has as many what do they call it? As many nerve endings as the brain does.
I've heard
and
that.
They call it your second brain, right? Because your stomach tells you, other things that maybe your brain doesn't. Like, I'm hungry. Your stomach tells you that. But that's also because it's a different way of thinking, It's a different mindset. But that's also where your in chakra, associations, that governs the stomach, and that governs this, where your self-confidence and your sense of worthiness comes from. They're bringing that up because you need to hear that.
Oh, well.
You can go ahead and think about that all you want. I think
that's probably correct. Yeah, I let people talk me down all the time, so... Yeah.
Two cards came out. So we have Dragonfly and we have Peacock, which I like both of these.
That's Dragonfly, crazy. I'll tell you about why that's crazy later. But yeah, go on.
So Dragonfly is that beautiful transition from where are they born? Where do they live the first part of their lives? In muddy waters.
Right. Right.
When they develop, they get their wings and then they fly. And they're these beautiful, beautiful, they come in all kinds of colors, kind of like the peacock.
Yeah.
but that's what you need. That this is that energy that you need to take on, is that transitional energy
Okay.
between, but you have to really not just be in the waters and just be like, oh, it's dark, it's dirty down here. You have to actually use that environment to grow.
Okay.
The peacock. When you get here, not only are you going to fly, but bitch, you're going to be fabulous.
Very nice.
This is about being like showing who you are and being confident in who you are. So this is a confidence card. You do have to grow, but you also have to develop your sense of confidence.
Yeah.
And the choices that you make is what they're asking me to tag on the end of that statement. Be confident in the choices that you make.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool. That was fantastic, I have to say. Like that was great. My card didn't come up that I normally get, so that's maybe good. I usually get the Hierophant.
Nope, that did come out. That one did come
Oh,
out.
it did
The
come
thing,
out.
it was before we started. You saw me earlier shuffling the cards.
Yeah, yeah.
And like one flipped over, it was the Hierophant.
Ah, okay. So it's still with me. And what is the significance of that guy?
It's funny that you say you're anti-spiritual because he is the spiritual card.
He
He's the
is the
Pope.
spiritual. Ah, there we go. So,
And other cards, they'll, especially cards that are written in Spanish or Italian, he's El Popa, the Pope.
very nice, very nice. So,
Yeah. So the reason he's coming up for you is because you need to. He's my. So he is about tradition and about doing things in a set form of things, in the set ways of things. When I get him, I advise people, because he's my do things in the right way that's right for you, not necessarily what's right in terms of society. What does society deem as correct or righteous or whatever, but it's what's right for you. And if he keeps coming up for you, it's because you need to embody those things. And I know that you do in many aspects of your life. You do, you do your own thing. You do what makes you happy, but they're just, they're telling me, are you structured? If there's any, I don't know if they mean that because of lack of organization, or if there's a better way to organize your stuff. But I do believe that trimming down is to help you better organize your time. I don't know why they're bringing that up, unless you need it.
Yeah, probably. So, yeah, I've been having trouble with that. So,
okay, that might be where to okay. But yeah, the Hierophant did come up. That was like it flipped when I was probably if you go back and watch the recording like earlier when I was shuffling, something flipped, and then I looked at it and then put it back.
Oh,
it was
so my boy is still there. So,
yeah.
Very cool, very cool. So yeah, that's interesting.
And you know what else is interesting about that?
Yeah,
is the Hierophant is like so I told you that my card is the High Priestess. The priest and the priestess.
Ah, very cool. All right. I like it. I like it.
Oh, buddy.
The dragonfly is interesting because I went through this summer something very traumatic, and I started seeing dragonflies everywhere in the garden. They'd land on my shoulder. One of them got into my car. I was going to the grocery store and there was dragonfly balloons everywhere. And I was like, okay, something about dragonflies. And I looked it up online and it was like, this is change. This is evolution. And I was like, okay, so from this trauma, I have to take something and make it into something beautiful. And hence the peacock. And when I did my when I signed my contract with Old Scratch and we had our ceremony, you get to choose a theme, and my theme was peacocks. So Yeah, so the whole party was all peacock themed. My contract party. Yeah. So,
That's wonderful. So
mhm.
that would, so, I mean, if you want to take it that way, this is just affirmations that you are on the right path.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So,
It brought up very significant things, significant events in your life. So that would also indicate that everything's okay or
yeah.
going to be okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Because I'd hate to think that I just went through that for nothing. But I guess things don't happen that way. Things don't just, yeah. You just don't have like an upheaval of your existence for just like, yeah, whatever. So,
That's what that tower is too.
hmm.
Tower moments are also endings.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
So,
it is.
huh.
Also endings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something's got to end or something, did end, but it
Yeah.
was more about what's going on right now. Something else is gonna got to end, and it's got to be excess projects
Excess
that,
projects. That's true.
that
Yeah.
that are just kind of, it's not a waste of time, but it's keeping you from moving forward in the way that you actually want to move forward.
Right. I'm exhausting myself. So,
Yep.
yeah. Yep. So, very interesting. I think it's interesting because you say that, and I was thinking it lately that I'm just like going into shutdown. I'm like, what am I going into hibernation or something? Because I just cannot wake up. And like, I may be awake for like 6 hours during the day, and I'm like, this is not great. And I read this post online. It said like, oh, sometimes when something really traumatic happens and you can't run away from it and you can't fight it, your body just shuts you off. And I'm like, oh, that must be what's happening.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah. So, but yeah, so that's good. I'm energized. I'm excited for yeah, taking on these. It's very it's a confirmation. Uh very very cool. Very cool. So, is it fun to do these readings? Do you enjoy doing this with people? So,
oh, I love it.
yeah.
I love especially just because of like just I mean I enjoy these reactions of like, oh, I was just saying that, and then just
Mhm.
people like, get out of my head, like, what are you doing? Like, you can't lie to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's why I had my friend Sierra make a new logo for me,
Yeah.
and she put on it, I see through your bullshit
Oh, nice.
on my logo, and I was like, I love it, I love it, thank you. But it's you know I may not know, I may not walk around like looking at people like I can see you, I can
Yeah.
see inside you. But if somebody is willing and allowing me to, um, you know, give you information that can really help you, then that's when the best, most pure messages come out.
Hmm. Very cool. So that's exciting. So now we talked about kind of the bright side, and if you're okay with it, I want to talk about sort of more the dark side. And you had talked about exorcism, and that you don't so much exercise people like in movies and stuff like that. That you
Yeah.
more exercise like a possession that a spirit's attached to or a home. Um,
Yes.
can you tell us about
Uh,
some of those?
yeah. Like some experiences.
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, just even in my own home, every now and then, like just something sneaks in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because when you're in a state of distress, anger, obsession, all of these like kind of more like shadowy aspects of ourselves that we all have,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's easier for them to kind of attach and kind of, we refer to it as piggybacking
Yeah.
with you. And you kind of like, that's why like people like, I feel like I got this like cloud over my head, this negative thing, but it's because like there's that like little gremlin like feeding off your negative energy and kind of, regurgitating it so that it's just this like, it ends up becoming this awful downward spiral.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so a lot of people, when they get new homes, they want somebody to kind of bless it. Sometimes they'll bring in priests, they'll bring in people like me,
Mm-hmm.
or they may do it themselves, but they may not necessarily be able to sense if or not understand that they did that they did it correctly, you know. Um, I have a friend whose husband loves to sage the house.
Mm-hmm.
However, he does it with all the windows closed, so he ends up hotboxing their house.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, you know, you got to open the windows and blast the fans and like push the energy out of the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I thought he was doing it wrong. So they're just spinning in circles. You know, the spirits can't get out and they're just like spinning in circles in their living room or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what I do when I go into somebody's home, I do, I first, like, I go through and I have them, you know, prior to me getting there, open all the windows, all closet doors, all, you know, all doors to every single room.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, you have to be comfortable with me getting into your bedroom, and I'm going to, like, much like I did a reading with you,
Mm-hmm.
I end up doing readings in their homes as well.
Huh.
So I'll find out, you know, I was like, who, like one of my friends, I cleansed his house and I was like, who was crying here? Somebody was crying on this staircase.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, not me. I found out later it was him. He just
Yeah.
didn't want to tell me.
Right.
But you know, that they had so many hand-me-downs from family that they kept because it was sentimental. So I got a lot of, like, you know, I could see things that they were doing in recent weeks that there was no way I should have known. So I end up doing, you know, a reading and just kind of like getting a feel of what really needs the most attention in their home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll spend more time in certain places. But in one particular house, they said that there was a bathroom that always creeped them out.
Hmm.
And I was like, yep, something's in here. So I brought all of like my little witchy, like I had a goodie bag of witchy stuff. And so I like set up a ritual super quick, and I was like, okay, we're going to exorcise this thing out of here. So we're going to kick him out. He can't stay here anymore. But they were really surprised with all the things that I saw. So but I also put blessings on the house, and I put protective boundaries on the houses as well.
Wow. Okay. Very nice. So, and you said that sometimes it's objects. Now, is that a spirit attaching to an object, or is it just somebody's energy, or is it both?
It can be both.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, that whole like creepy porcelain doll thing?
Sure.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Can they move or anything like that? It's possible too. Like, things get knocked over around my house all the time,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because, you know, if they're feeling like particularly active and want to, you know, just do something, then they'll get my attention. And so, you know, things can move and all of that stuff. It depends on, you know, the spirit. So,
We're having a little. Yeah. Your voice is a little clipping out here. Can you
hear me?
Can you check your mic? Your voice is clipping out just a little bit.
Let's see. Can you hear me?
Just barely.
Oh, how weird.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can. I don't know where my headphones are.
Uh-oh.
Here. Let me grab my headphones. Let me see if that will work better.
Okay.
I'm shaking everything.
Oh no. Let's see. See if that helps. Yeah.
Does that work better?
That is better. Yeah. It just happened very suddenly, like when you were talking about the spirit energies and stuff like that. It just kind of clipped out. So
Oh,
maybe
they
someone
don't
doesn't want me to hear.
they don't want you to know. Um, yeah, so it can for item possessions, it can be either a person's negative energy or
Hmm.
even positive energy. There's things that we hold on to that are just like um you know, this was grandma's and I absolutely love it. And so you can feel that from, you know, really nice things or, um, uh, at a pawn shop, how people will pawn off their engagement rings and they say
Yeah.
it's bad luck to purchase a pawned engagement ring,
Mm.
or a wedding ring. But that's also true just because of the mixed energies that were there. Like that person could have been very much in love when they received the wedding ring, but
Hmm.
towards the end, there was bitterness, and you don't want to start a marriage off with that. You can cleanse that energy and get rid of it for sure, and then have the ring blessed to start anew. But if you try to like do the wedding ceremony without cleansing the old energies, it
Hmm.
can actually negatively affect you, even if after a while you actually get rid of the negativity, or somehow you end up losing the ring and have to get a new one.
Hmm.
Those are just different things to think about.
Wow, that's very
Yeah.
interesting. So
Yeah.
I actually have a collection of what a lot of people would call creepy dolls. It kind of for the same reason because I was always the creepy one, the ugly one, the one that people like. I'd just be walking through the mall and somebody's like, ugh, like that kind of thing.
No.
Well, we all have our cards to play, and so I gravitate towards the dolls that are well loved, that are world wearied. And so I have
Oh.
like a collection of these because I'm like, no, no, you need love too. You can't help that you look that way.
Oh.
So, yeah, but
Interesting.
kind of that energy of like somebody loved you, kind of that Velveteen Rabbit, if you know the story. But,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that's interesting that you said that because I just was seeing a lot of on Instagram. There is a user that's called Velveteen something. I think
Oh,
he's Velveteen Rabbit, but he might be the Black Velveteen Black, I
hmm,
think.
could be.
Um, but he's a really, like, his art's really beautiful. But um I just got like a blast of all of like a lot of his posts all of a sudden, which is really weird because I haven't seen his posts in a long time. So and one of them was the about the Velveteen Rabbit and why he connected so much to um that particular story. So that's really weird that you bring that up.
Yeah.
So now I need to look up rabbits because why not?
Rabbit energy. Yeah. Yeah, and
Yep.
my comic, I have a dream about rabbits, little black rabbits that guide me on a journey. So, but it's usually the white rabbit, but these were little black rabbits with the Eye of Ra on their backs. So, yeah.
Oh, that's sick. Are you gonna do art of that, please?
Oh, yeah, it's in my second comic, Lost Bread Found, and I'm working on the third one right now, The Hewer. So, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
So that's we actually had a woman who's a dream detective on the show, and I talked
Oh,
about kind of the dream that started me writing because it had been about 3 years before I wrote anything on the comic because I was just like, I'm done with it. Everybody just thinks it's weird, and everyone who buys it is just like, this is really weird. What's wrong with you? You're kind of a sick little puppy. And I'm just like, I'm just done with it. I'm done with people thinking I'm gross and creepy and nasty, and I just had this
oh,
dream about a skinned horse coming to me and said, "You are beholden to monsters, and I can't carry you away. You have to carry yourself." And the dream detective said, "Well, you know, the horse is the messenger, and when the horse is stripped of its flesh, it's the raw message, and you have to carry yourself. The message can't carry you, so it's time for you to take accountability." And I was like, "Okay, well, I guess it's time for us to write the comic again." So
beautiful.
interesting,
That's so
yeah.
cool.
It was pretty cool. I do
Eh,
like the
You
horses.
know, that's a guide, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a
That's not like a dream. That's like a guide.
yeah, I've got a couple that come through. Like horses are pretty consistent. The Meg Ryan thing, I think, is just because it's a safe, beautiful kind of image from my childhood. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's normally my dream marker. Is like when I'm having a dream and I'm gonna go lucid, I'll see like a poster with Meg Ryan on it, or like Meg Ryan will approach me, or Meg Ryan's on my shirt, and I'm like, oh, I'm asleep. Okay, we're gonna see what happens here. So
That's super interesting.
yeah,
Nice.
it's kind of fun. So that's what I write my comic book about. But yeah, so maybe start focusing the energies in on that, and stop taking so many commissions. I get a lot of commissions, and they tend to be inexact. Like people say, like, I don't know, just something creepy, and I'm just like, uh,
Great.
okay. And then I'll draw something that's like, ah, not creepy enough. And I'm like, well, you could have told me what to draw, but
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why
yeah.
I love doing the spirit portraits because
Mm-hmm.
I do not like taking commissions for
Yeah.
art because people
Yeah.
go, "Oh, you're an artist? Do you do commissions?" And I'm like, "Do you even like my art? Like, do you
Right.
know how I draw? Because you might not like the things that I do." And they're like, "Well, I want a painting." I don't paint,
Yeah.
and it's just like, I'm not the artist for you, but I can direct you to like 85 other ones that are really amazing at painting.
Yeah.
And they go like, but will you do it for like $40? Mm, you can
Mm.
get an ink blot.
So, yeah, yeah, that's always frustrating. I would be super now. Probably this isn't the right forum for it, but I'd be super interested in commissioning you to do a spirit drawing. So,
I
at some
mean,
point. Oh,
oh yeah, for sure. And
yeah.
but what I brought that up to say why I love doing spirit portraits
Mm-hmm.
because it is a commission.
Yeah.
However, you don't get to tell me what to do.
No,
You get what you get.
I get what I get. So if
So
I
it's
don't
kind of
see the
like
grandma that I want to see, then I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So.
because people want to um they want to see themselves in
Mm-hmm.
a particular way, but I let people know I'm like you might not like what I see.
Mm-hmm.
So just be prepared for that and no you don't get your money back.
No. Yeah.
But I let them know. But I give also, so when I do the aura portrait,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to have the person in front of me. I can do it with a picture. And then I draw it and I give a full like interpretation of what I see too. And that's like a typed, typed out. I type it out. So you get a lot with it, which is, people I love all the ones that I've done. I love what I've seen in people.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually people that are very, like they're the people that are like, no, 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 I don't want you to read me. I'm like,
Mm.
what are you hiding?
Right. Right.
What are you hiding?
Yeah.
I'm not going to read you, but they usually have something like deep, dark that they don't want to see. And I'm like, that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't waste my time. That's
Yeah.
fine. But, I mean, I think, the one that's, everyone that I call him my poster boy because his ended up turning out super cool because he had like mushrooms all around him and stuff.
Aw.
And when I show people his, they go like, I want one. Now I want one. So you're my example that I give to everybody.
That's very cool. And those are visible on your Facebook page, correct?
The people that have given me permission to show
Mm-hmm.
I do not explain anything about the spirit portraits just because that's personal information
Yeah.
to those people. But the ones that let me explain a little bit, and some you can kind of just look at it and be like, I know exactly what's going on with that person,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just really the symbolism is kind of more common.
Yeah.
But it's they get to see the image and I may have to find a better way to explain it to people online because I think because when people go like, well, can you tell me more about this?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I know what it is, but maybe people who
are not familiar don't really they don't really have a clear idea of what it is. I may need to find a better way to explain it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think people have their own personal symbologies and stuff like that. And so something that might be super significant to me, and I see you draw it, and I'm like, I know exactly what that is. Somebody else is like, why is there a chia pet in that picture? And I'll be like, okay, you don't know about me and chia pets, all right? Like, that's my thing. So I do like the chia pets. I've got actually like 4 little planters right now that I'm waiting to put mushrooms in, oyster mushrooms. So, but yes, yes, chia pets and weird indoor gardening type stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so like people have their own personal symbologies, things that are very meaningful and powerful to them. That to the rest of the world, it's like that's weird.
Yeah.
So. But very neat, very exciting. Wow. So this has really been kind of a mind blowing experience for me. I'm very excited. So what is next in the world of Nyxie? Where can we catch you? How can we get a hold of you if we want to get a reading or spirit art from you or exorcism, anything?
The best way to contact me is on Instagram.
Okay.
So it's Nyxie VonRose on Instagram. My Facebook, I'm trying to be better about checking my Facebook, um, just because I just launched my YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
so you can see. I'm gonna try to find a better format or a different kind of way to do readings online.
Yeah.
But I do hope that my YouTube channel continues to grow because people seem really excited about that. And it is a way for people to experience my way of tarot reading.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like try it before you buy it kind of thing.
Sure.
So
Sure.
it's more for general zodiac readings is what I'm starting out with. But I would like to move on to some different interesting spreads that I've come across that I would like to start doing. So we'll see how I make that happen. And also with we didn't even talk about Horrorgasm, but
Oh yeah, let's talk about Horrorgasm for sure.
yeah. And then and you were really involved and very, very helpful with Horrorgasm
Well, thank
last
you.
year. And we appreciated everything that you did. And with Horrorgasm this year, things are on pause in
Mm-hmm.
terms of our big event. So I won't go into the big event, but we are working on we're still continuing with the comic book because
Yes.
luckily we don't need to meet anyone in person for that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
great. Um, and with the comic book, we pair artists and writers together that are interested in creating horror themed comics, little short 4 to 6 pages. And what's nice is we encourage people that don't typically get exposure or are brand new to the comic book format
Yeah.
and have always wanted to break into it. So we encourage new artists, new comic artists, or new writers. I don't think the horror writing community really gets that much exposure, as much as like maybe filmmakers get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even visual artists don't get that much exposure. It's more maybe toys and merchandise
Mm-hmm.
gets a lot of attention, which that's always fun. And we do like to celebrate those kind of artists as well. But even performers and musicians that kind of have more of a darker edge to
Yeah.
their performance art, we celebrate that as well. So we are going to launch our online gallery pretty soon.
Yeah.
We're just reformatting the website right now to display those and the comic. And for now, those are the 3 main projects. So
And I'm hopefully going to be submitting a story for the summer edition of Horrorgasm, the comic. So I was
Oh,
talking
yes.
talking to Atiba, one of the members of the team. So and yeah, so hopefully that will be happening. That's
Yeah, I'm excited.
got a plan, like you're saying. Got to find the time. So
And really, which one is that what you want to do in your heart?
I don't know. Yeah, that's something I really have to start thinking about because like I was just saying the other day, I don't feel super passionate about anything I'm doing. It's just like I'm doing it from rote and I need to just figure out what because there's obviously like a reason I started drawing, a reason I started writing, but I need to figure out like
What direction?
the last picture I did was actually for it was a the last picture I did where I felt something really strong was fan art for a friend of mine who illustrated a book that's basically like a fantasy novel that teaches people how to deal with their trauma in their life, their PTSD and stuff like that. And I just really resonated with one of the characters in that. And I just was like, spending hours drawing this and it was just like this labor of love and I was like, "Oh, this is what drawing used to be like." And like, "Oh, okay, I remember." But it's cuz I was actually inspired and interested in what I was drawing instead of just going like, "Yeah, okay, you want me to draw that? I'll do that, I guess." So but yeah, I think it's the story behind it. So it's maybe that's telling me you need to start honing in on your storytelling in relation to art, rather than just like cracking things out for whoever's willing to shuffle out the money. So, but I need the money. So, but yeah. So it's going to be a delicate balance. I got to start analyzing what's going on and what I want to start focusing in on. So, but yeah, so it's a very interesting reading. Very excited to. Yeah, I've been excited ever since you agreed to do this interview. That because this is just something so different for me that I
Oh,
get to talk about. It's always something I've been fascinated with, but never something that like I've been able to really touch into and that kind of thing. So,
oh
but
yeah, I love talking about this. I could talk for weeks about this kind of stuff. I actually had this really, really sweet kid approach me. Um, he goes to a high school very close to where I live, but he found my Instagram
mm-hmm.
and he said, "I go to this Christian school. Can I interview you about witchcraft?" And I was like, "Why? Are you
Yeah,
guys to like hunt me down with pitchforks? Like what's
right.
happening?" And he's like, "No, no, we just have a paper we have to write about religions and I don't want to write about Mormons." And I was like, "Okay." And then he brought like five other of his friends with him that are also in that class, and we ended up having like this amazing conversation about just the similarities and what we actually believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And they were it was just really nice to be able to talk to somebody who it wasn't familiar with what I do and be just really receptive to it, instead of
Yeah.
like critical or skeptical and demeaning. So
Yeah, yeah, because I think there's a tendency to malign witches a lot of the time, people who practice that art, and it's like, well, it's about healing and love, and it's not about the things that you want to attribute to it.
it's not Hollywood.
So,
And
yeah.
Jen, my other partner for Horrorgasm,
Mm-hmm.
been pushing me to do articles. I haven't been approved yet, but there's a website that was looking for open. They did an open call for guest writers on the website
Sure.
and to submit a topic. And she actually submitted it for me and then told me about it after, which was really
Oh dear.
funny. But because when she knows, like she pushed me back into art.
Hmm.
So I trust her when she says, "I think you should do this." And then she pushes me to do it. And I just go with it because I'm like, she feels it. So I'm like, okay, I trust her judgment. But the topic that she submitted for me was analyzing witchcraft in Hollywood and
Mm-hmm.
comparing it to what I experienced as a real life witch. And I was like, oh, yeah, because people ask me all the time, what's real in Hollywood? Like, do you
Mm-hmm.
guys really like dance with the devil? And I'm like, I mean, like, no, because that's not, and all, people say like, oh, do they shoot out like real fireballs? And I'm like, no, that's not like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that's CGI,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is it's just what I try to explain to people is that is the visual to what the energy is like
Mm-hmm.
feeling like it just gives you a visual of what's happening,
Yeah.
because sometimes like I could visualize something when I'm doing my work and it'll just look like I'm just sitting there with my eyes closed, but in my head I've got this like whole like wizard scene going on.
Yeah.
So um they just visually depict what we experience. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So I remember a movie when I was younger came out, The Craft, and
I love
yeah, and the big thing that they had said is like, oh, they got real witches to come in and like verify that all this stuff could happen. I'm like, I'm pretty sure like I've never met anyone who can make dolphins wash up on the shore and stuff like that, but I don't
Mm,
know. Yeah,
I mean, I
leave the dolphins alone, Nixie.
leave the dolphins alone. I wouldn't do it. I love the ocean. I love the creatures of the ocean. Um, no, I mean like the, it takes one powerful witch to do something crazy. That's
Yeah,
all. That's
yeah.
all I'm gonna say is just I'm not gonna say no.
Not gonna say no, but
Not gonna say no, but it's kind of like a witch wouldn't do that.
mm, yeah.
Not one that's like I don't know. There's good. There's no. There's different belief systems
Mm-hmm.
within witchcraft. It's a very flexible way of life, and like people are like, oh, are you Wiccan or Wicca? Excuse me.
Mm,
And then I say it's like whiskey. It's like bourbon. Like
right.
all bourbons are whiskey, but not all whiskeys are bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that with Wicca is that they're all witches, but not all witches are Wiccan.
Yeah.
So
Very cool. Very cool. But I do love that movie though, I gotta say. It's very fun. So
yeah, I gotta watch that again.
yeah, yeah. It's really interesting. Well, very cool. So is there anything that you would like to make sure that you let people know before we end this interview, which has been super fascinating and amazing?
Oh,
So,
thank you. Um, yeah, just keep an eye out for Horrorgasm
mm-hmm.
and the the things that we have coming up. We have some, um, you know, depending on how things go with, being out in public and gatherings and everything within, by May,
Right.
um, have we have something planned, but we do have like online. We do have our online gallery that is going to, we are going to feature that pretty soon, and um, look out for Horrorgasm, Tales of Horrorgasm. That's our comic book
Yep.
coming out in the spring, or coming out. Sorry, the spring issue is going to come out. So keep an eye out for that. You can find our first issue on Comixology
Mm-hmm.
on Amazon or at comixology.com. And yeah, just keep in touch with us online. And for any personal readings, that's Nyxie VonRose is separate from Horrorgasm. So for tarot readings, my YouTube channel, you can contact me on Instagram. I try to do some live readings now on Instagram for kicks and giggles.
Sure.
And yeah, for any personal readings or spirit portraits, you can contact me on there too.
Okay, very cool. And when I put this up, you are welcome to put this up on your channel or just cut out the segment that's the reading if you'd like to. So, if you want. But
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I can put it up there. Yeah,
So
because it's on on my YouTube channel, I can put this up.
Yeah, if you want to, I can send you a copy of it. Like I can either send you the full footage or just that section, whichever works best for you. So, yeah.
No, I'd like the whole thing actually, just because you know, if people want to find out a little bit more, then they can watch the video and see the whole thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, okay, well, thank you so much, Nyxie, and it was a pleasure having you here. And oh, sorry.
It was very nice talking. Oh, I was going to say it was very nice talking to you, Napoleon.
All right. Well, thank you, and I will talk to you later. All right.
I'll see you soon.
Bye. The specialist of thanks to Nyxie VonRose, our special guest for the evening. Catch that girl on YouTube. Link in description below. You can also follow her on Instagram at Nyxie VonRose or Facebook/Nyxie VonRose. She makes it easy for you. Hey, do you know about Horrorgasm? Because you should. It's fantastic. www.horrorgasmsd.com. It's an art show all about what's creepy and beautiful in this world. I have several pieces on display with them. Plus, you can see my short web series, Hello, which is interesting. Hope you'll check it out. A tender thanks to our legendary announcer, Savage C. Walnar. Could not do it without you, Savage. And the You Mind theme, Demilitarized Zone, is by Ethan McSell. Help support independent podcasts and the show at patreon.com/lucidnap or at buymeacoffee.com/lucidnap. You can also go to my website, lostbreadcomic.com, and buy original artwork, prints, stickers, and so much more, or you can just follow us on all social media. And if you haven't yet, go check out Creeping Wave Radio. It is our scripted audio drama that sort of ties into this show, sort of ties into my comic book, and I think you'd really like it. So catch up now, because the new season is coming in October, with lots of fun, star-studded guests. Yay! But you know, the real star is you, for listening and participating with us. Thank you so much to our Patreons, The Grammarica Show, Nikki Benfield, and Neil, because they are amazing and they're the reason we can get away with this kind of thing. So, yeah. The You Mind is brought to you by Lucid Nap Productions in cooperation with a hairy old man.
I'm not that hairy.
Oh my god, you're like a hamster. A sexy hamster.
Welcome to Wild Speculation, a podcast where each episode is a short story that explores one of the many strange, wonderful, and sometimes disturbing worlds of speculative fiction. You can find us at wildspeculation.buzzsprout.com, on the Project Entertainment Network, and wherever else you find podcasts. So sit back, enjoy the story, and let your imagination run wild.
This has been a presentation of the Project Entertainment Network.